everyone, I'm Tanya.
And I'm Jason.
And we're from
the Board Game Nook.
Today we're going to talk about Soiled, a 2 to 4 player take that card planting game.
It was designed by John Englert and Ivan Giovanni, and it plays in 30 to 60 minutes.
As the name suggests, Soiled is a game where we're planting our gardens, but we're not doing it alone. We have jealous neighbors that want to plant their own gardens that have their own bigger, better vegetables. So over 12 rounds, which of course is 12 months, January to December, we are going to be planting our gardens. We're going to be watering them and we're going to be harvesting the veggies, but also trying to protect our gardens from our neighbors who are trying to hinder us, and also hinder our neighbors with their own cards when we get them.
Like Tanya said, the game will take place over 12 rounds, and each round players will get 3 actions. So you're going to have roughly 36 actions for the entire game.
Which is tight.
It's very tight. You're going to have a garden that is broken up into 2 rows and 3 columns. Each column corresponds to the amount of sunlight a plant requires once you've put it on the board. So you have full shade plants, partially sunny plants, and full sun plants.
Now, of course, you have plants like tomatoes. They love full sun. So you can only plant a tomato in a full sun spot. And it depends on what you draw. We'll, of course, restrict where you can place them.
Your actions during a turn are going to include things like drawing cards, watering your plants, giving them growth tokens or sun, or composting them. Mm-hmm. When you compost them, you dig them up. Now, all these different plants have various abilities. For instance, when you compost them, you can draw cards. When you water them, you can water additional plants, etc. And you're going to make the best of a hand of 5 cards.
Yes.
You're going to play them down to the board, and you're going to harvest them. Mm-hmm. Once a plant has the correct amount of water and growth points on it, you're then going to harvest it, put it over into your garden basket, and will count for points at the end of the game.
That's right.
Once the final round is over, all plants' point totals will be added from your garden basket. You're going to subtract all the weeds and pests that you currently have on your board, and the person with the most points in their garden basket wins the game.
Thus, gardening. Soiled is a widely approachable game. I mean, you're just planting your garden. So anybody and everybody can play this. You understand the theme. Where
it might not be your favorite theme, but it is definitely an approachable one.
It's my theme. I do like gardening. And it is so cute, right? I mean, you have these adorable little cards where you're planting carrots and leeks and arugula. I
just love the onion. He's crying.
Yeah. And they can be like such sweet, cute little smiles. And then other ones are like quite evil looking. And it just adds to that overall theme of the fact that though we're gardening and it's so cute, we're planting our plots, this is very much a take that game. And I mean, not necessarily take that as in all the cards are bad, but it's kind of like real life. Gardening can be a little bit brutal. Okay. So you have cards here that arugula place a pest on an opponent's plant in their garden. And I just think that in this game, I mean, not that it actually states it, but I just love the concept of I'm sneaking into my neighbor's garden in the middle of the night and I'm placing a pest on their little plant so they can't harvest it in the morning. Or one that the parasitic weed is brutal. It says discard a neighbor's plants and plant a parasitic weed in its place. So I'm literally just ripping out his cucumber and planting this parasitic weed so that I can win and he can lose.
It is interesting because it is a take that game because you are going to be hurting your opponents. And there's kind of like this decision space where you have to decide, is it more beneficial to use my limited amount of actions to plant something to help myself, mm-hmm. or should I take these actions and hurt my opponents by, placing pests or parasitic weeds? Now, in some cases, the amount of hurt is so big that the decision is made for you. Yeah. And it's not whether or not you're going to choose to hurt your opponent. It's more a question of when
and how badly
and who. Yes. So when you hurt them, it becomes the choice, not necessarily how.
We don't have a lot of time, remember. And like, for instance, the tomato needs 4 sun and 3 water. So we are really investing a lot of everything we can into water and growing. But then in the meantime, you have these cards that pop up that will either devastate your neighbor
Well,
or,
if you have a pest, if a plant has a pest, it's not going to grow,
yeah.
and you can't harvest it, and you can't give it water. So you do have to take time to get rid of it if you're the player.
Or you need to place a card. Instead of, watering it, you need to plant this cloche, which will protect your plant from somebody trying to put a pest on it.
But exactly, and I don't want to over understate this, but the correct use of a parasitic weed can be devastating for a player.
I was working so hard, you guys, and I had just this one plant in my garden, one little plant, and I had a cloche on it to protect it. And then Jason comes in, and he just decimates it and ruined everything. And I was very mad at him for a long time, which is a good sign for a game.
Emotional investment is a good sign for a game.
Emotional investment was there.
Now, also, because it is a take that game, it does lead to the player count conundrum. So at 2 players, we found that it was almost whoever got the parasitic weeds is going to win this game.
That's right.
Because you only have one person to play it on, and it just is a really powerful card.
That's right.
At 3 players, it sort of lent to this idea of each player is going to hurt every other player. And the game came down to a sort of kingmaker scenario where player C decided between A and B who would win. Yeah. So we found that
4 players was the most enjoyable.
Yes, the sweet spot of this game, because you do have to watch what other people are doing on their garden plots, and you have to be aware of how much growth each plant has.
Keep each other in line, pay attention to them, but also try and grow your own garden.
Yes, the table is going to keep the table, honest. Thank you. I lost the word there. And the other thing that I absolutely loved was just the huge variety of plants. There are so many, and when speaking with the designer, they actually had to cut a bunch of them out. So this game probably has a lot of potential for expansions as well.
Yeah, for sure. As much as we enjoyed sabotaging each other in our own respects, this game, it is pretty chill. Okay, so we did have a lot of fun with the take that portion of it, but really you can just sit back and plant your garden, and you can water, and you can put different vegetables in, and it's more like a puzzle game where when you're planting certain things or pulling up certain things, they give you benefits of watering your adjacent plants. So you can puzzle it out and just have a very relaxing afternoon planting your gardens with a little bit of parasites that are thrown in there every now and then.
So yes, who's this game for? Well, it could be for tables that like a bit of aggressive gameplay, that's for sure. Or, it could be for a Sunday afternoon or on a rainy day.
Yeah, we played this camping. It was a rainy day, so we sat down at the table, had a very small table space, and we just had an enjoyable day of gardening while camping because we couldn't be outside.
The games were also very close. For instance, the winner to the loser, it was almost always within a couple points every time, which also leads to a bit of suspense while you're playing the game.
Yeah,
so
because we didn't really know. You didn't get discouraged of being like, oh man, I got so obliterated, I can't possibly recuperate, because they're also having their own issues.
There was only one game which was a complete blowout, and I'm not going to spoil how it happened, but
sneaky,
it was
guys,
pretty sneaky
when you made this game,
So there are clever combos you can pull off while you're placing your cards, and it can be just a very, like Tony said, a very relaxing experience. And so I think the game works well with a lot of different groups.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's easy to take with you, easy to store. It was pleasant enough to play.
And if you love gardening, well, then this title might just be for you. So it's coming to crowdfunding within the next couple weeks. I think it's September 7th. So if this sounds good to you, be sure to check it out.
That's right. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye for now.
Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about Spoiled. No!
Soiled.
Soiled.
Um,
I make a better garden than you do because I sabotage.
with pests.